Today we're going to be talking about the one and only, the infamous Loki, Skull.
Skull.
You will know me as Skull the Norn.
Welcome back, travelers, to another Viking Tales. So I'm joined here today by Mr. Andrew Valkowskis.
And I'm here with my sidekick Ken, and we're ready to tackle one of the biggest and most influential characters in the Norse myths. In preparing for this episode, we had to trim a lot of fun stuff and a lot of fun stories. It was as painful as what we had to do with Odin, if not more so. So if you guys are going to want more on any of our characters that we do a quick coverage of, let us know and we can do a follow-up.
Yes,
all
indeed.
Right.
Maybe even a top 5, you know, we can all be linked all together. So tell me a little more about Loki. Tell me about his family, his tree, his family tree.
So his parents are Laufey and Farbauti.
Okay.
Which may come as a huge surprise to any fans of Marvel. All right, so they've got that a little bit mixed up. He had 2 brothers, and his brothers were definitely not Thor. They were Bylest and Helblindi. Loki had 2 romantic involvements. The first one was with Angrboda, and Angrboda was, as best as we can tell, an ogre or a Rime Jotun witch, and they had 3 children. Fenrir the wolf, we had Jormungand the Midgard serpent, and Hel, the mistress of the dead.
So, why does he have animals as children? Aren't they 2 humanoids?
He might need to get a paternity test, but he's a shape changer.
Ah, shape changer. Is that one of his ability, right?
Yeah, that's one of his really key abilities.
So he does also have a air walking boots, right?
Yeah, he can run over the wind.
So him and also his wife, right, was a witch as well, right? Wasn't she? So maybe she shapeshift. Maybe they did some crazy mix-up.
Yeah, there might be, because he's shapeshifted into all kinds of strange stuff, and witches are known for that kind of thing.
Exactly.
So, you know what? I don't think we need to dig too far to kind of see some legitimacy here. But I wouldn't be surprised if a paternity test showed something totally off the radar.
Speaking of paternity tests. So we already know that Odin is not actually his real father, like Marvel actually said. They're actually blood brothers, which we did talk about as well in our Odin video. Another fun fact about him, he is not an ice giant. He's actually, well, it's not really mentioned, but we can assume that he is a fire giant just because of all the names he goes through.
That would be the closest correlation, because, I mean, he has been conflated with Logi, another character, and Logi means fire.
Yeah.
Lopt is another one of the characters that's utilized often, and that is usually associated with heat and wind. His parents have also been used as kennings. So kennings are Nordic poems of skaldic tradition where certain types of flowery text is used in lieu of an element, or it's just any noun, right? So you could end up saying like shield breaker for sword.
Yeah.
Right? Rather than saying sword, you say shield breaker. So a lot of kennings in his family and around his ecosystem have to deal with flame and fire and heat, and nothing to do with ice and cold. So
not even close to being ice and cold.
Yeah.
So we can assume he's a fire giant. Also, from Marvel, there's not really anything that shows that Heimdall and Loki have any bad blood. They're actually nemesis, right?
Yeah.
They're at nemesis. So in Ragnarok, they kill each other, which is kind of like mind blown. The fact that Heimdall, which is probably one of my favorite characters in Marvel, don't tell Thor. There is also some pretty cool stories about. You want to tell me one of his crazier fun stories?
So he's had a lot of fun stories. If we were to narrow it to one that kind of just would blow everyone's mind, is that Loki was a mom once.
Is it what?
A mom.
A mom.
So after the Aesir-Vanir War, Asgard was kind of in ruins. It was tough to defend it. So they hired a Jotun architect to build an impenetrable wall around the city. He asked for Freya's hand in marriage in return for building the wall. But the gods didn't want him to take away Freya, because Freya was one of the great hostages that the Aesir obtained after the truce. So they said, well, you have to build this massive, amazing wall in under a year. If it takes you longer, then, you know, your payment, we don't owe you any payment. The giant says, yeah, no problems. Because you know why? He had an ace up his sleeve. He had a magical horse that could drag and stack massive boulders in a very short amount of time. And very quickly, the Aesir gods were looking and they were panicking, and Freya was just beside herself going, you did what? They were in desperation. And then Loki came out of nowhere and said, you know what, I'll solve this for you. So he shape changed into a mare, went and seduced that big stallion that was working for the architect.
To transform into a female horse.
Exactly.
So that so the horse would get seduced.
Mm-hmm.
They possibly couldn't have had like some kind of baby or something.
Well, they fade to black in the story, but afterwards, when finally a year later, or the term ends, and they come out of the woods, well, Loki's now the proud mom of an 8-legged horse named Sleipnir.
Oh, that's the one that Odin uses. That's Odin.
You got it.
Oh,
you
my
got
God.
it.
I wonder if the guy, the architect finished the wall. That's actually, if he's not getting a payment.
I guess, yeah. There's probably a part of the wall that wasn't finished. We can assume that, and maybe that's used by, the sons of Muspel to invade the city of the gods at Ragnarok. Yeah, he's got a lot of good stories, but I mean, there were a lot of bad ones, too.
Mm-hmm. The one that comes into mind that was really, really big was the fact that he indirectly killed Balder. You guys may know Balder mostly from the God of War franchise game that just came out.
Yep.
So his weakness is mistletoe, as you guys know. You probably don't know why, but we're going to talk about that in another video. We're going to talk about how
The Balder video.
The Balder video, which should be coming out after this one. So he gave the mistletoe spear to Hod, and he's like, Hod, just aim it here.
Oh, because Hod's blind, by the way.
Exactly. Just throw it and see what happens. He goes, okay.
No, but why was Balder just standing around waiting to get a mistletoe spear in the face?
Well, Balder was really, really cocky. He thought he could not die.
Oh, but then again, yeah, maybe we don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
No, we don't want to talk too much
We
about
got that in the other video.
That is definitely something.
It's so easy to digress on these.
So yeah, there's a lot of stories that he does some very bad things. One that's not as crazy, but is actually huge influence. He actually shaved off the hair of Sif, the wife of Thor. She actually had the most beautiful hair in the whole.
And now she looked like I do.
She does. But there's to the point where he actually redeemed himself. He seems like a really bad person, doesn't he?
Well, I think he's a little bit more misunderstood than actually bad.
It's true.
Yeah, he's done some bad stuff, but he's had a lot of bad stuff done to him. I mean, let's go down the list. So he has 3 children that are pretty monstrous, but nowhere does it state that they were terrors to the Aesir. The Aesir just decided to preemptively go and throw Jormungand into Midgard. And so a realm that's way too small for him. So basically he's chewing on his own tail surrounding Midgard. That's how he got the name Midgard Serpent. So he gets cast out of Jotunheim, where it's like the realm of the giants. The area would have been definitely big enough for him. Second thing is they said, you know what, we can't kill Fenrir, but we can probably chain him up. So they managed to chain him up and torment him. And the last one is, well, Hel, his daughter, gets sent to Niflheim. And the details aren't clear, but how do you go to Niflheim normally?
You kill her.
Gotta be dead.
Yeah.
So they
Stabby,
probably killed Hel to send her to Niflheim. So imagine exiled, snared, and killed 3 of his kids.
There must have been more than that.
The Aesir were very self-righteous. So they always thought they were above everyone else, right? So what happened was, in the Lokasena, where Loki is basically the protagonist, he walks into a party that the Aesir have thrown. And, this is after they've kind of put everyone else down and exalted themselves. And he just took everyone down a peg by just basically pointing out. Well, he pointed out where everyone's faults were. So after he killed Balder, he had a really terrible punishment put on him. So I think we got sidetracked. We didn't talk about a second romantic involvement, which was with an Aesir goddess, by all accounts, named Sigyn. And he had 2 sons with her, Narfi and Vali. After he was caught running away after the death of Balder, they brought him back. They shape-changed one of his sons into a wolf. That wolf gutted the other son. They took the entrails from the second son, and they bound Loki against a stone with a venom-dripping serpent. So imagine now, like, on top of the other 3 kids that were, killed, imprisoned, and exiled, one of them got shape-changed to the wolf and forced to kill his brother, and then those entrails are used to tie up the dad. When he finally gets free during Ragnarok and sails Naglfar, the ship of toenails, the ship of doom, against Asgard, I'd say he's kind of justified in that.
Yeah, like, let's be honest, okay? Loki helped them out a lot. Just so many crazy deeds that he helped out the Asgardians. We can kind of understand his point of view as well, which is great because in the Marvel movies, at first he was a very big antagonist. Sorry.
Antagonist. He was a bad guy, right?
Yeah, but turned into a protagonist near the end during Avengers Infinity War. So it's very...
No spoilers.
But yes, indeed. So it's very similar. I like the fact that it did the same thing in Marvel. So that's really cool.
No, it's really nice that they made him a nuanced character rather than good versus evil.
Yeah.
Which was the big thing. Like giants are evil, gods are good. But if you read it, it's in like any classic mythology, all of these higher powers are just all, pardon my French, assholes.
Yeah, jerks.
Exactly, jerks. Then they're using humans as their playthings.
Exactly. Humans are the only one that are like in between. They're being caught in between. They're there like, I'm just trying to live my life. And gods are like, no, we're just going to play with you guys.
So Loki's a very nuanced character. I mean, you have arguments for or against his humanity, good or evil. Put your comments down below. We'd love to read them. And if you guys want to cover more of his stories, just like Odin, we cut a bunch to make this video.
Exactly.
But we can make a follow-up, a part 2 if you guys need.
All right, that's it for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button. If you guys want to get updated for every single one of our videos, hit that subscribe button.
And Patreon backers get everything early. So if you guys join our Patreon, link below, you'll get early access to this video and others.
Skål.
Skål!
Safe travels.